9 months ago, I endured one of the most heart-wrenching moments of my life, a miscarriage that shattered my world. When my husband, Oliver, and I learned we were expecting, our hearts swelled with joy and hope. We were thrilled, diving headfirst into dreams of parenthood. We spent countless hours imagining our baby's face, their future personality, and the kind of parents we'd become. Oliver was my rock, and together we felt unstoppable on this incredible journey. We eagerly began preparing, transforming our guest room into a cozy nursery. We painted the walls a soft, soothing hue and discussed furniture choices with care. Every detail felt significant. I devoured parenting books, eager to absorb every bit of knowledge about pregnancy, childbirth, and raising a child. Those days were filled with excitement and anticipation. But one night everything crumbled. I woke up gripped by an unshakable sense of dread, a feeling I couldn't explain. My heart pounded as I rushed to the bathroom, and when I saw blood, panic set in. Tears streamed down my face as the reality hit. Oliver, startled by my cries, raced in, his face a mix of confusion and fear. He quickly drove me to the hospital, the minutes stretching into an eternity. At the hospital, I clung to a fragile hope, but the doctor's gentle words confirmed my worst fears. I had lost the baby. The news felt like a physical blow, leaving me numb with grief and disbelief. The days that followed were a blur of sorrow. I couldn't eat, sleep, or find the strength to talk. The world felt colorless, and I was trapped in a fog of despair. I took 2 weeks off work, barely leaving my bed. Each morning brought a fleeting moment of forgetfulness, only for the pain to crash back when I remembered the loss. Sleep became my only escape from the overwhelming heartache. My family surrounded me with love during this time, and I'll always be grateful for their support. My parents and sister checked in daily, calling, texting, or visiting, even though I struggled to respond. Cousins and relatives stopped by with meals and small gestures of care, but no amount of kindness could pierce the emotional numbness I felt. Oliver, however, was my lifeline. He cared for me when I couldn't care for myself, sitting with me in silence when words failed, bringing food I could barely touch. His quiet strength kept me from completely unraveling. He reassured me that we could try again when I was ready, his optimism a faint light in my darkness. Slowly, I began to heal. Returning to work gave me a routine to anchor myself, a distraction from the constant grief. But in quiet moments, the pain lingered. I joined online support groups for miscarriage survivors, finding solace in shared stories. Reading about others' experiences helped me feel less alone, and sharing my own journey allowed me to process my emotions. I'm still grieving, and I suspect I always will, but I've stopped blaming myself. I've come to accept that some things are beyond our control, and that belief has brought me a measure of peace. But last week, an incident at my sister Elise's baby shower shook me deeply, unraveling some of the progress I'd made. Elise announced her pregnancy 2 months ago, but I learned about it through a cousin, not directly from her. It hurt, especially since Elise and I have always been close. She was there for me during my miscarriage, offering comfort when I needed it most. When I asked her why she didn't tell me herself, she explained she didn't want to upset me while I was still grieving. I understood her intent, but I told her I'd always be happy for her, no matter my pain. I wanted to be part of her joy, to be an aunt to her child, and I urged her to share her happiness with me openly. She seemed relieved, promising to keep me in the loop. Elise is navigating her pregnancy alone amid a divorce from her husband, Lucas. Their split shocked our family, as Lucas always seemed like a kind, devoted partner. Elise cited vague, irreconcilable differences, but offered no details, leaving us with unanswered questions. I didn't push her, focusing instead on supporting her. I attended her doctor's appointments and helped plan her baby shower, which she decided to host at Lucas's new home due to its spacious backyard. Over lunch with our mom and cousins, we planned the event, and my cousins offered kind words about my loss. Elise, however, seemed irritated, asking us to avoid heavy topics. Later, as I drove her home, she made a half-joking comment about me stealing her spotlight since my miscarriage. Stunned, I asked her to clarify. She admitted feeling overlooked because people focused on my grief, and she didn't want that at her baby shower. I apologized, promising to keep the focus on her. At the baby shower, I tried to ensure the day celebrated Elise. Despite my efforts, guests approached me with hugs and supportive words, and I could feel Elise's frustration growing. I also reconnected with Lucas, who seemed worn down by the divorce, his usual vibrancy dimmed. The event was filled with thoughtful gifts, a handmade blanket, a baby rocker, a stroller. My gift was a set of parenting books and a shawl I'd bought in Istanbul during my pregnancy. That shawl, delicate and beautiful, held deep meaning for me, tied to both joy and loss. I couldn't bear to discard it, so I gave it to Elise, hoping it would bring her baby joy and help me heal. When Elise opened the gift, her face darkened. She asked, with clear irritation, why I'd given her something meant for my lost child. I tried to explain its significance, but she accused me of cursing her baby. My mother chimed in, saying it was inappropriate to give something tied to loss. Hurt and confused, I apologized, taking back the shawl. Elise, still angry, said her baby deserved better than hand-me-downs from my tragedy. Her words cut deeply, and I fought back tears. Oliver stepped in, calmly but firmly defending me, saying Elise could have addressed her concerns privately instead of humiliating me. A cousin backed him up, urging Elise to drop it. The tension eased as attention shifted to other gifts, but I felt heavy with guilt and sadness. Later, I tried to make amends by preparing Elise a plate of her favorite foods, mashed potatoes and chicken, and apologizing again. She barely acknowledged me, taking the plate without a word. Moments later, she began coughing violently, her face swelling as she struggled to breathe. Panic erupted. I rushed to her side as my mother called 911. Paramedics confirmed an allergic reaction. Elise is allergic to lobster, but Lucas assured everyone the grills were kept separate. I knew the plate I gave her was safe, but in the hospital, Elise accused me of poisoning her, claiming I tampered with her food out of resentment. Shocked, I denied it, but she screamed at me to leave. My parents sided with her, believing I'd endangered her and her baby. Rumors spread that I was jealous of her pregnancy, and I felt vilified. Update 1. My story gained attention online, and I'm grateful for the support and condolences from strangers. Many understood why I gave Elise the shawl, but her resentment over the attention I received after my miscarriage has clearly festered. She posted on social media, accusing me of poisoning her out of jealousy. Humiliated, I refused to apologize. Lucas invited us to his house to resolve the issue before the baby's arrival, and my parents urged me to attend, but Oliver and I were hesitant. Update 2. We reluctantly went to Lucas's house, where Elise demanded I confess to poisoning her. Before I could respond, Lucas revealed he had security footage from the baby shower. The video clearly showed me serving Elise mashed potatoes and chicken, with no lobster involved. It also showed Elise dipping her chicken in sauce from a cousin's plate, who was eating lobster. That sauce likely triggered her reaction. My parents, seeing the truth, looked ashamed for supporting Elise's accusations. Elise tried to deflect, but the evidence was undeniable. I confronted her for slandering me online, and Oliver warned her we'd sue if she didn't retract her post. My parents apologized, but I called them out for blindly siding with Elise. I asked my mother to correct the narrative with family, but she downplayed it, saying it didn't matter who was right. Frustrated, I told her I couldn't maintain a relationship unless she took responsibility. Oliver and I left with a copy of the footage, and Elise removed her post, but my mother hasn't clarified the truth. Update 3. Inspired by advice, I shared the footage online, detailing how Elise and my parents wrongly accused me. The video sparked outrage, and family members who initially blamed me apologized, some even mocking Elise for her recklessness. I plan to remove the post soon, having made my point. My parents keep calling, but I've ignored them. Oliver and I are maintaining distance from the family until my parents own their mistakes.